My name is Brett. I'm with Tribe Title. Today's guest is Bill Tait of My Roots Group at Keller Williams Real Living. Thanks for coming on today. Appreciate you being here with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem. So I'm going to start out with the real basic questions. So how long have you been in real estate?
I just hit 2 years, August 1st.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, so that's what you were talking about, the 2 years as far as qualifying.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
Gotcha. Yeah, being commission-based and whatnot.
I'm a COVID baby in the real estate industry.
That's awesome. Well, it's probably picked a good time to get in, right?
Yeah. 2021 is a really good year. Yeah, did 22 transactions, like a little over $6 million.
Wow.
So it was probably like a false promise start. I don't know.
Right.
But hey, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, take it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then what are your plans kind of moving forward? I know everybody talks about a market shift. How do you see that affecting your business?
Well, as a market center, we've been talking about it for a long time. We saw it coming. We didn't know when it was going to hit or how hard it was going to hit. And, kind of, I think June, the brakes just pumped the brakes hard and everything just kind of came to a standstill. I had a lot of buyers that were, they were avidly shopping last year. They had obviously, the 2.5 rate, 3% rate.
Right.
But a lot of them were shopping at the top of their budget. And when the rates went up, they kind of were like, well, I can't afford what I want now, so I'm going to hold off for a while.
Yeah.
I really think it's a good time for them to get back into the game because while rates are higher, maybe you have to get a little bit less house. You're not paying $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 over asking price right now.
Right.
Houses are sitting longer. And there's a lot more opportunity for the buyers to get into a house.
Yeah. No, I agree. Do you kind of specialize in that? Is that your specialty area? Is a buyer's agent, or do you just kind of go wherever the business is?
Yeah, I do listings and buyers. I think, as a newer agent, you're typically be buyer heavy.
Yeah.
I'm a little more listing heavy this year, which is good, but business is down a bit overall.
Right.
But yeah, I can do both listings and buyers.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. And what did you do before real estate?
So I came from Johnson Controls. I started there in 2017. I still bartend on Fridays, but I had a regular at the bar.
Yeah.
His name is Cliff, and he had worked there he's about to retire from there. And in 2016, he talked to me about moving over to a position there. And, I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Let's talk about it. And it took about a year to get in because before Johnson Controls, there were a company called Simplex Grinnell, and they were in the process of being bought out by Johnson Controls.
Yeah.
So once I got in there, I was like, yeah, man, this is awesome. I'm going to be here forever. And after a couple of years, like, man, this kind of sucks. So, I was selling fire alarms and fire alarm service. And
yeah.
Hey, people need it, but people don't want it, right? So it's, I was kind of looking for a change. And then, Billy Maniaci, I've known him for at least a decade. He's been in real estate. He's been crushing it in real estate since like 2013. I think he came over to Keller Williams. And in August of 2019, I had shot him a text. I was like, Bill, I see your stuff on Facebook. You look like you're doing really well. And I'd like to talk to you about maybe making a move to real estate. Do you think maybe I'd be a good fit?
Yeah.
And I didn't hear back for like a week. I'm like, well, maybe maybe I'm not a good fit. Maybe he doesn't think I'm a good fit.
Right.
Turns out he's down in Austin, Texas for Keller Williams Mega Camp.
Oh, okay.
And once he got back, he sent me this big, long text. Like, yeah, man, come on, check it out. We'll talk. So we set up a time to talk, probably November or so of 2019.
Yeah.
I was like, Bill, this sounds really good, but I don't know how to make the jump from, salary and commission, company car and benefits to being, straight commission, straight 1099. So I'm going to have to think about it for a while. So, I just kept touching base with them. And, March 16th of 2020, right? COVID, the world's about to shut down.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, what do I do? Like, am I going to keep my job? What's going on? All our customers were shut down. We did like the big three, a lot of big companies. So I was kind of coasting for a while. Like I'm just kind of, I'm getting paid and to do nothing.
Right.
And then I got a Zoom link from not my boss, but my boss's boss and his boss. I was like, oh, this isn't good.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, Billy, I think I might be losing my job here. Let's talk about the real estate. I'll let you know in a couple of days. And it turns out that was what it was. Got a severance package. I was actually kind of happy about it, right? Kind of gave me that push to get my license. So that was June 25th of 2020. I talked to Billy that day. He's like, all right. He set me up with Aaron McKenzie, our team leader for both My Roots and Keller Williams. Right. Awesome person. Did tour the office. She got me set up with real estate licensing class. I studied my butt off for about 2 weeks straight, and I was on the boat reading my book and doing my tests and stuff. And I actually had to drive to Gaylord to take the test because, like I said.
Everything's shut down.
Well, no, all the testing centers are so full because everybody's trying to get their license.
Gotcha.
So I was like, man, if I'm driving to Gaylord, I'm not taking this thing twice.
Yeah.
So I studied hard. I passed it the first time, and August 1st, my first day as a licensed real estate agent.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of nice the way that worked out because that package probably gave you a little bit of padding at least to where it wasn't such a, you're not jumping off a cliff.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. Regrets so far, or are you pretty happy with the transition?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Couldn't be happier.
Cool.
Yeah, it's just, I work with awesome people. I get to work, meet a lot of people, new people every day, and talk to new people, and it's you can make your own schedule. It's a lot of work. Sometimes it's not. You're making your own schedule because people have to get into houses and do this and do that. It's weekends, but
right.
I don't want to punch a clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. And now you do a lot of stuff outside of work too. Like I know kind of your history a little bit. You had kind of a different background. You moved around quite a bit, and you lived in the Virgin Islands for a while, didn't you?
I did, yeah. So that was actually kind of weird how that happened. Back in the main beat-ups days, this was in 2005. I think right about this time, it was about the end of September, early October, and me and some friends were, it was a Tuesday night, I remember clearly, because it was power hour. They had dollar bottles, right? We're talking about, it's whatever. It's friends talking. And one of them was like, we should move somewhere. I'm like, okay, where are we going to go? We're talking about the usual spots like California, Texas, Florida, East Coast, all that stuff. And so it was Nicole and Jessica. Nicole's like, well, I had a friend that moved to St. Thomas for a while. I was like, I don't know what St. Thomas is.
Right.
So we talked about it. It's like, well, let's get together tomorrow, go online and look. And this is before mainstream smartphones. So we had to go to a laptop and stuff. And we looked at it. I was like, this looks pretty sweet. So, here we are 18 hours later buying one-way tickets. And we left like 11 days later.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And then, so did you have a job lined up, or you guys just went down there and figured you'd find something?
Yeah, I packed a suitcase. I had the last $1,500 to my name. We got on a plane, landed, and we're like, wow, what do we do?
Yeah.
we did have a place lined up to live for that first week, right? It was called Miller Manor. It was an okay place, but we didn't know anything about the island, right? It turns out it was in the worst part of the island, right? There was gunshots every night and crackheads walking down the street.
Yeah.
So at the end of the first week, we're like, man, we don't have a place to stay. Let's go talk to Marge and Harry, who were the proprietors, about getting another week. So it was like 11 a.m. We went and talked to them.
Yeah.
And they're like, checkout was at 9. Like, okay, it's like 11:30 or 11 o'clock. Can we just get another week? Like, no, you guys got to go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we had our cash in hand, ready to pay for another week. Like, no, you guys got to go. So we're like, oh, okay. So we said,
now we're homeless.
Yeah. So, Jessica was hanging out with one of the guys that lived there. So she kind of stuck back in that night and stayed for a while. But me and Nicole were like, well, what do we do? Like, we were homeless for a night. So we went down to the marina and got onto a dive boat and just made a bed out of life jackets and slept there for the night. And
wow.
Yeah. Kind of pulled the trigger on a new place the next day, which was the very top of the island.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been there, but it goes from sea level to about 800 feet.
Right. I've seen it.
Yeah. And the place we got was $1 million view. But we didn't realize, we didn't have a car.
Right.
and we worked on the water. So I worked, my first job was racing sailboats.
Okay.
So it was a 3-hour walk down, probably a 4-hour walk back up because you got your switchbacks and all these curvy roads. So we're like, this isn't going to work. So, and luckily the guy was nice. He let us break our lease after a month. We got a place down by
that's cool.
All the activities.
Yeah. So I didn't realize that about you either until recently. I was looking back at something you put on Facebook and I saw this picture. And I couldn't realize how it was relevant. And then I zoomed in on the picture and I'm like, oh, that's you. And you were on it looked like a pretty competitive sailboat.
Yeah. So we actually had 2 sets of boats. We had, they're called Beneteau 40.1 first. They were, just over 40 feet.
Yeah.
We had those in the summer, I believe. And then it was for a company called On Deck Ocean Racing. We had a sister company over in England. They would bring out their 65 footers for us for the winter. We had 4 of those. And yeah, they were big boats. We raced in the 2007 Rolex Regatta.
Oh wow!
Didn't do very well. It was fun though.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. So they were big boats.
That's crazy. So now, did you grow up sailing? I mean, I'm guessing you must have had some experience before jumping on something like that.
Never been on a sailboat before.
Really?
Yep. Needed a job. Went and talked to them. We were like, yeah, come on, we'll train you up.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I figured for sure you must have grown up sailing or something.
Mm.
Wow. Is that scary? I mean, I would imagine that'd be scary just going from never sailing to being like out in the open ocean like that.
I had to take some Dramamine the first few weeks, right?
Yeah.
But eventually you got used to it. And in the Rolex Regatta, we were hitting like 14, 15 foot swells and, it was fine. You're just walking around. You just kind of got your sea legs and you're good to go. So it's after a while, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah. And you're moving fast too, right? I mean, you're racing.
Yeah. Well, not fast. And in a boat like that, you were probably going like 15 knots.
Okay.
So, with a good wind, maybe 18.
Yeah.
So they're not moving fast, but you're up and down. You're in the lower level where it's 120 degrees, packing the spinnaker into tying it off in the yarn. So on your downwind
Yeah.
runs, you can pop it. And it was a lot. I think I lost like 15 pounds that weekend.
I was going to say I've seen them moving on sailboats, and you're moving around pretty
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah. But I mean, that was just the one-off thing we did for fun. Our typical day-to-day operations were taking people from the cruise ships and from, hotels.
Yeah.
Kind of teaching them a little bit how to sail and, how to not lose their fingers in the winches and
Right.
kind of put on a race for them, let them do a little bit of the work if they wanted to.
Yeah. Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's got to be, is it profitable? I would imagine it has to be profitable to afford those kind of boats.
For the company, it was. For me, I ended up bartending.
Right.
So yeah, it was fun to do it, but I was like, I don't want to be broke down here all the time.
Yeah.
So ended up bartending at the Frenchman's Reef Marriott, which
Okay.
if you've ever been in St. Thomas, it's that big pink hotel right on the point where
Yeah.
the cruise ships come in.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what I saw because we came in on a cruise ship.
Yeah. So
That's cool.
that was, I don't know if it's fun. It was bartending, but it was
Yeah.
good money.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Everybody's on vacation, having a good time.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's money's no object. Here you go.
Yeah, that's cool. So you got to, I'm guessing you probably met a ton of people, especially being there where cruise ships port.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's people in and out every day. Like you got the people that are on the cruise ships there for a 4-hour stop or somewhere overnight, or you got the people at the hotel. I met a few quote unquote celebrities. I served for Aldo, Billy Ocean, David Carradine. Lionel Richie was there. I never met him.
That's
One
awesome.
of Bob Marley's sons. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Saw Chandler Bing at the bar watching the World Series.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool lifestyle. So now, going from that, when did you finally move back from there?
So that was from 2006 to 2009. Once I left St. Thomas, I moved up to Long Island, New York for about a year. I was a project manager for a roofing and siding company called
Okay.
Marcor Construction. Great people, Gary Marzano. He's still doing it, crushing it. Good job, Gary, if you watch this. But, Michigan was home. So, there's nothing about something about Michigan you just can't replace, right?
Yeah.
Even down in the Caribbean, I kind of lost my sense of time because there's no change of season,
Right.
right? So I'd be sitting on a sailboat on Christmas Day, like this doesn't feel right.
Right.
It's cool, but so yeah, I came back home. All my family's from here. I grew up here, and it's a good spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool, though. I mean, it's great to be able to look back on that and know that you did something like that. Most people never leave where they're from, so it's a
Yeah,
cool
for sure.
adventure. And now the people that you went there with, are you still friends with them today?
Yeah. Yeah, they both live. Well, Nicole, I haven't talked to in quite a while. We're friends on Facebook, but Jessica, she lives locally. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
doing well. And yeah,
Cool. Does anybody still live there?
from our group, no.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was 4 of us that went down. Cassie, she moved to Ohio a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I don't really talk to her too much anymore. She kind of got off social media, and
Yeah.
everybody's bad about calling people.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I know it's hard as life.
Yeah.
As you get busier, you just kind of lose touch. It's cool, though. I mean, you usually run back into people and it's like no time passed, but
yeah.
yeah, it's hard to keep in touch.
So, and oddly, there's actually 3 people I met down there who live within 15 minutes of
Oh, really?
Howell Bright. Yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah, it really is a small world,
It
especially as
is.
you get older.
Yeah.
That's
So-
cool. And now you live in Brighton.
Live in Brighton. I've been there for about 10 years. It's nice. I'm downtown right now. Don't want to be downtown for a whole lot longer, but it's a good spot. It's a fun spot.
Yeah.
It's kind of loud though.
What are your hobbies? I know you like memes, and I know
I've heard that.
I know you like your cats.
I'm a recent cat convert. Yeah. So my girlfriend got a cat this February,
Yeah.
and I've always been allergic to cats. And I was like, well, if you want a cat, we'll go meet one, find one you like, and I'll play with it and touch my eyes and stuff. And
Right.
it was fine. Like I didn't have any reactions, so I was like, oh, let's do it. And like he's the coolest dude you could ever meet. He's got character. He's just funny. So,
Cats are incredible.
They are.
They're so like independent. I mean, they're so much different than dogs. They're just so independent, and they just kind of come to you when they want to, but not by choice, not by your choice.
right. I mean, I love dogs too.
Yeah.
But like I said, their cats are just a lot less maintenance, and they're fun.
Right.
I'm converted.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So-
Now, as far as your team, you're on My Roots team. That's probably, I mean, as luck would have it, knowing Bill Maniaci, that probably worked out pretty well for you. I know My Roots is, one of the strongest teams in the area. Has that been kind of your goal with it, to stay on My Roots? Do you eventually want to have your own team? Like, where do you see yourself going in, let's say, 5 years?
I'm happy there. I don't want my own team. I don't know if I'm structured enough to manage my own team.
Yeah.
I'm kind of, haphazard in the way I do things. So I don't know if that'd be a good fit to, trust other people's businesses,
Right.
being run by me. But no, I wanted to be on my roots when I first started talking to Billy about real estate. And it wasn't automatically, hey, you're on the team. We still had to go through the voting process, sit down with the rest of the team and say, yes or no.
Right.
So luckily, people liked my memes and they saw them,
Right.
before we sat down. So,
Cool.
but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different teams at the office and not everybody's a good fit for every team. Right.
Yeah.
So whenever we have people come in, we have recommended they talk to different team owners and see what's going to be a good fit for both parties. And
right.
luckily for me, my roots was a good fit.
Yeah. No, and that's a good thing that you know that about yourself, that you're not structured enough to have a team. Some people just see the big goal is like, oh, I want the biggest stuff and I want to have my own team and do this, but it's not for everybody. I agree with that. I talked to a couple people that I'm like, when you have a team, you have to almost put that team ahead of yourself. I mean, you have all these people that rely on you. That's how they make their income. So
yeah,
it's kind of an important piece of the puzzle. And like I said, my roots crushes it. So you're definitely in good company.
Agreed.
Now, do you guys do, as far as your business, is it mostly organic, your leads, or do you buy leads? How do you find most of your business?
I'd say for us, it's mostly organic, talking to people that know, like, and trust us.
Yeah.
I would say that's probably 80% of my business last year. There are some team leads like Erin. She doesn't take any buyers anymore. So she'll hold those out based on like personality fits and things like that. And then, we do get some like Facebook leads and stuff, but it's mostly organic.
Okay. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
And now Erin, she's been in it for quite a while, right?
I think 14 years.
Okay.
Yep. So she started off with, I think Coldwell Banker, I believe. And then she came over to Keller Williams with my home team with some other agents who split off eventually and then created my roots group. And just took it over.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a solid team. Now, do you like the team aspect as far as like having the admin and everything? So it kind of gives you a chance to more focus on, I'm guessing, the enjoyable parts of the job and not having to worry about all that back end stuff.
1,000%. Yeah. I mean, it frees up your time to do the things that you're supposed to do, is go out there, lead generate and talk to people and just get new business. Right. But if you're tied down doing all the paperwork and scheduling on the back end, I mean, you can make twice as much, but you have less than half as much time. So is it really, you got to look at the balance. I mean, some people it's for them to be a solo agent and do all that on their own, or maybe hire out some of the paperwork. But again, me being less organized, it's the right fit for me. And we got our admins, Corinne and Catherine's crush it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's how I feel I would do, because I can't do the tedious stuff, the stuff that when the big stuff's done and it's time to sit down and self-discipline and go through those tasks, that's where I fall apart.
Yep.
So team is definitely a good way to go when you're that type of person.
Absolutely.
Very cool. And now you bartend still. Is that by design? Do you love bartending, or do you do it as a form of lead generation, or both?
A little bit of everything. I mean, I've worked at the Buffalo Wild Wings in Howell since they opened in 2004.
Yeah.
I'm just there on Fridays now. Originally, I went back there because I got my real estate license during COVID. I was like, well, I got to get out and talk to people. Everything else is shut down.
Yeah.
So I started bartending, and it's just it's nice to get out and talk to people and have fun and kind of cut loose.
Right.
And it's easy money and kind of balances out the highs and lows of the real estate business. So
right. Yeah. You have the one thing you can kind of count on.
Yeah.
Cool. Do your ears kind of perk up when you're sitting at the bar and you hear somebody start to talk about real estate?
Oh yeah. I got a stack of cards under the under the register.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, you said you started working there. Is that how you met Bill? Was he worked there as well?
Yeah, I guess I skipped over that. Yeah, so me and Bill worked there. I was there when they opened in 2004. I think Billy came shortly after. He started off as a cook, then to a server, then to a bartender, and then to a manager. So he had pretty much every role in that place.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were good friends. We hang out on Lake Chemong every now and then in the summers. He used to be a big lake guy. Now he's got his apple orchard on his property. But no, he's a good dude and he's crushing it. And I'm thankful to have known him.
Yeah.
And get this opportunity.
Yeah, he seems like a good guy to know. And it's funny that you say that he worked his way up like that, because it seems like that's just kind of, he's like a very determined person as far as like, he's going to get in there, figure it out, move up through the steps.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what he did with real estate too, right? He started off as just, regular agents, and he just climbed his way to the top.
Yeah, and his like knowledge of the market and the numbers and things just blow my mind.
Second to none. I mean, he does all his market research. He knows his numbers, and
Yeah.
he just, and that's why he's one of the reasons he's so good. He knows what's what and what's coming and
Right.
how to do things.
Is that something that, obviously that's not something you're into, like you said, as far as like just the time and effort and everything else it takes to do that. Do you kind of rely on him a lot for that type of knowledge? Is he kind of your go-to guy?
I mean, everybody tries to do their own market research. I think he's more diligent than a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it's always great to hear the words like at our team meetings. It's great to hear his thoughts on the market and the stats and things like that.
Right. And you're a big tech guy too, right? Because you do a lot of the tech trainings. So you're pretty affluent with that stuff as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've always been kind of a nerd. I started programming when I was 10, just like as a hobbyist, tinker around with stuff. But yeah, I love technology, and that's it's one of the reasons I'm getting more organized is I'm getting rid of paper. Yeah. I would always have like 18 notebooks, and I would leave one here, leave one there, and like where'd I have that note? Where'd I have? Right. And so I just like my notes were useless. So I got everything in my iPad now. Yeah, and it's helped quite a bit.
Yeah, with everything in life.
Yeah, yeah,
that's awesome. So now you're in a relationship now, and then is that somebody that you've known for a long time, or is that somebody that you met when you came back here?
So I've known her for 3.5 years. We actually met on St. Patrick's Day at Lou and Carl's. Oh, cool. She is good friends with one of my friends who used to work at Buffalo Wild Wings. I went up there. It was a Sunday, St. Patrick's Day. I was like, I'm going to go up for a couple beers to Lou and Carl's. And I saw my friend Lauren over there, who's with my now girlfriend. Yeah. And she's kind of cute. So you guys can be here for a while? I was like, yeah, we'll be hanging out. So I ended up staying there for like 13 hours, right? Get to walk home, so I don't think anything. And yeah, I mean, she's been around ever since. It's been great.
Awesome. Yep. That's cool. Now, what does she do? She's not in real estate, right?
No. She's a server at Brighton Bar and Grill.
Okay.
And she is in her last semester of college at Eastern.
Nice.
For marketing.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yep. Cool. Well, that might go hand in hand then, right?
Yeah. For sure. Well, she actually got licensed a long time ago. She didn't like it. Real estate. Yep.
Yeah, I guess it's not for everybody.
Yeah, that's true.
That's cool. Now, it seems like that Buffalo Wild Wings is quite the spot for realtors to come out of, because you guys have a couple people on your team that are from there as well, right? Yeah,
so we brought on Paige, I think 6 or 8 months ago. She actually knew Billy from back in the day as well. Yeah. And I've got another one I'm trying to bring over soon.
That's great.
So it's kind of the Keller Williams breeding ground, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, the farm team.
Right?
That's cool. I mean, it makes sense, though. I mean, they're very similar in nature. I mean, it's obviously, right up front that person is good with people, likes talking to people, likes meeting new people. I mean, I'd say that's probably one of the harder parts of the job.
Yeah, and just being able to get out and talk to people. A lot of people they're not social. They don't know how to talk, and if you can't do that, you're probably not going to make it in sales.
Yeah. Now, when you bartended, did you start like the sailing thing? You had never had an experience and you just started bartending in St. Thomas?
No, so I've been bartending since 2003.
Okay. So you were bartending at Buffalo Wild Wings
so I guess
before
you
went there.
So I bartended for a year at Red Robin. Okay. And then when Buffalo Wild Wings opened, I started off as a server there and then got into bartending pretty quick. So that's 2004, moved to St. Thomas in 2006. So it'd been a couple of years of bartending experience.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. I always ask because that was my start. I started bartending when I was going to ASU. And then I kind of made it into a quote unquote career for a while because it's hard to get out of. You know what I mean? You make that cash. And, but yeah, that was the hardest thing for me. I actually had to move from where I lived to get out of it because I bartended in Chicago and I was right like a block away from Wrigley Field. So it was just a big place, that was very busy, a lot of money. And I just couldn't, I looked around at other jobs and I could never find anything that would come even close as far as money and flexibility. And I actually got my real estate license in Chicago and dabbled in it for a minute, but never went anywhere with it. Because I needed that steady cash.
Yeah, Chicago has to be a tough market to get into, I would think.
I think so. In hindsight, I look at it and I'm like, yeah, because I started with this company that was actually same thing. I met a guy at the bar that was like, hey, you should come down to meet with me. And I did that, got my license. But they were more focused on rentals. So that was our big thing. We would take like Craigslist ads at the time, and then we would basically repost them as our own to try to get somebody that was interested and then talk to the person renting, see if they would be willing to, give you a month's rent to bring them the client. So yeah, it was a tough business, and I didn't really enjoy it because I saw the commission for a rental. I'm like, man, I can make that in a Saturday, bartending,
Yeah.
but I have to put all this legwork into it. So I didn't enjoy it, but it kind of got my feet wet in real estate, which is kind of what I've always enjoyed being around, not necessarily as an agent, but now I get to be, in the business, get to hang out with agents, talk to agents, but not do the job they do.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're just on the back side of it.
Right.
Yeah. Very cool.
But yeah, I always go back to the bartending thing. Just kind of know it's a hard thing to get out of. And like you said, you still do it, but it's cool because now you do it as a source of income and a source of lead generating.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of a well-rounded thing to do. If you're just getting to the business or in there for a while, there's actually few agents that are office still do it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I know Jacob does something similar too, doesn't he? He doesn't bartend, but he does like an entertainment company.
yeah, so he does trivia and I think DJing as well.
Yeah.
For Jacob Eddy Entertainment, and then Scott Hurlbert bartends also.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, I found that out. My wife actually met him at the library.
Okay, yeah.
So she comes home and she's like, "Do you know a guy named Scott?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, I know a lot of Scotts. What's his last name?" And then she told me the connection. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I know him." And she's like, "Yeah, he bartends at the library." I'm like, "I didn't even know that."
Yeah.
That's cool. Small world again.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Now, so the shift going on in the market, is that something you're worried about, or is that something, like you said, Keller Williams, I know, does a really good job of getting out in front of things and kind of educating you, letting you know what to expect, what's going on. Are you worried about the shift, or is it just another part of the business?
No, I mean, markets are always going to be shifting over time, but I think it had to happen, right?
Yeah.
It couldn't keep up with the pace it was going last year, right? People pay, 13-14% appreciation every year, paying $50,000 over asking price. It can't continue with that.
Yeah.
So I think it's needed.
Yeah. Do you think it's a good thing? Obviously, it's a good thing for buyers because it was getting tough with cash offers, over asking. Do you think it's also a good thing for the business itself? I mean, I know there was getting to be a lot of real estate agents. Do you think that the shifting market is going to kind of thin the herd, so to speak?
100%. Yeah. I think they're estimating like maybe a 30% fallout.
Oh, wow.
Which, I mean, traditionally real estate has an 82% fallout over the first 2 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a high turnover thing. Cause I think there's just a low barrier to entry, and a lot of people have unrealistic expectations about what it takes to get going, get traction in the business.
Yeah. I hear that a lot. People say, "Oh, well, I'm not going to pay that kind of money for somebody to go and unlock the door." But it's like, man, now that I'm in title and I see the back end, there's so much more work involved. And then once in a great while, we'll see a first sale by owner, and they're usually just an absolute disaster because they don't understand how much work the agents do behind the scenes to keep this whole deal together and moving forward.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and you're going to find those agents that are just there to open doors, and they're the ones that aren't going to make it.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things about having a strong team behind you is you're not have one stress ball of an agent that's trying to balance 5-6 deals and do all the paperwork and scheduling and do showings and do all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Having the team and that admin and that leverage behind you is not only great for the agent, but it's super great for the sellers and for the buyers too, because they're getting things done timely and efficient in how they should be, and it's just gonna make for a smoother closing.
Right. And that's the other thing too, the difference between that agent you described that opens the door and then the agent that is either really buttoned up or part of a team that has the admin in place. You can tell the difference between those deals. I mean, they come through, everything's handled. When, title reaches out, asks questions, those questions get answered right away and everything keeps moving forward. The disorganized ones, you're trying to track these things down that are in turn pushing the deal further and further out from closing, which is, not a good thing in real estate.
Yeah, you piss everybody off sometimes.
Yeah.
And then, there's those solo agents that handle it like rock stars and do, and get it done.
Right.
We got a few of those at the office. I mean, if you can do that, more power to you. But like I said, that's not me.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Like a Katie Leader, for example.
Yeah.
I know she crushes it. Mm-hmm. And as far as I know, I think she was thinking about bringing on an admin. She may have, but it was just her. But I'm like, man, she's got to be ultra organized to keep that flowing like that.
Yeah. Kirsten Crow, she had 15 under contract last month.
Holy cow.
Crazy. Yeah. So, I mean, just her and her mom, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, she's crushing it. Julie Tucker crushes it. I mean,
yeah.
They got the drive behind them to do it and the organizational skills, which is awesome.
Right. Do you think Keller Williams is a big part of that? I know a lot of people come from outside companies and then come to Keller Williams and they're like, man, I had a business for 3 years that I had no idea where it was going or what I was doing. And then I came to Keller Williams and they kind of gave me the education and the tools and the guidance to put this thing together with an actual plan to help my growth just kind of explode.
I mean, I don't have any experience with any other brokerages, so I can't speak personally to it, but from everything I've heard, yeah, I mean, KW is giving everybody the tools and everything they need to succeed and have all the leverage they need. It's just up to the agent whether or not they choose to take advantage of it.
Yeah. No, I noticed that. Like I said, my only experience was in Chicago, and I know that was like, hey, walk in, you sit here, this is what you do, and that was it. I never had any training. Nobody talked to me. It was like, I've noticed that at Keller Williams. It's, even though you're on my roots team, you can go ask questions to anybody, and anybody's willing to help you out, and vice versa.
Yeah, which kind of blows my mind. Like in the sales environment, you wouldn't think that is the case, and from what I've heard, it's not like that at a lot of other brokerages, including some Keller Williams. But
yeah.
I hate the cliche term, it's one big team, but it really is there, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's an open book. Hey, how'd you do this? Well, here's exactly what I did, right? We're not there to snipe each other, right? We're there to help each other. If we all win, if one wins, we all win.
Yeah, which I think is a huge benefit also to the client, because it's like, you don't have this agent that's sitting there trying to get your deal put together and, maybe reaching out on a computer trying to figure out how to do something. It's like, if they don't know, they have 200 plus agents behind them that do know, that are going to make sure the deal gets done because it's the best for everybody, which is huge for the client.
Yeah, 100%. If we can grow as a brokerage, we have to do that by leaning on each other.
Yeah.
And that's what we do, right? Nobody knows everything, right? So you have a question at 8:00 at night, there's always somebody that will take your call at that brokerage.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Now, what would your opinion be on the fallout? Like you were saying, 30% fallout for agents. I'm guessing, I don't know the statistics on it, but I'm guessing there throughout COVID, there was probably a big number of new agents as opposed to any other years, just because obviously the market was moving fast. They were seeing people in real estate making a lot of money, and a lot of people were kind of burnt out, laid off, all these other things that happened with COVID. Was that a big increase in agents?
Yeah, my understanding. I think that's, like I said, I had to drive to Gaylord to take my test because all the testing centers were full.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was definitely a big influx of agents. I don't know the number. I think right now there's like 1.2 million agents countrywide.
Yeah, I think that's close.
Yeah, it's one in 350 people are real estate agents. So,
right.
Everybody knows an agent or two. So
yeah,
you got really got to make yourself stand apart.
Right.
And let them know why you're going to do a better job for them.
Yeah.
But same token, if they go with somebody else, you can't be mad because
right.
You got to choose someone. And if you know 3 agents, I mean, whatever, you're still friends at the end of the day.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it. And, well, I mean, as far as standing apart, you do a good job of that, I think, because I have a lot of agents on my Facebook, and now I see a lot of them enjoy using the same memes. And I've noticed you always have original memes, which I enjoy.
I'm glad that's what I'm known for.
Yeah, the meme guy.
Yeah, the meme lord.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I spend probably too much time on Facebook, but again, it's where I get, do a lot of lead generating.
Yeah.
So it's not time necessarily fully wasted.
Right.
Somewhat, but it's good to entertain people too. And some people are having a bad day, and if you can turn that around, that's cool too.
Yeah. No, I always remember the stuff like that, like stuff that I look at and it makes me laugh. I'm like, okay, I remember that.
Yeah.
Stats you can get just like you see them over and over and over and over, and some of them are kind of depressing. So it's like if something makes me laugh or chuckle when I'm sitting there, then I'm like, oh, I remember that. So like you say, anything, whatever the saying is, there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Yeah,
if
that's
people
true.
see your name and they remember it, and then they remember you.
Yeah, I actually got a listing on doing something stupid last spring. The seller wanted a lot of natural light in the kitchen, so they put cases of natural light beer in the kitchen.
I remember that.
So for my listing, I was like, do I really want to spend $30 to take a stupid picture?
Right.
And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. It's funny. And I got a listing off it.
That's awesome.
Another listing off it. So yeah, it's just, it's, you never know where your business is going to come from. You just got to be consistent and do it day in, day out, whether you feel like it or not.
Right. And I still remember that though. I mean, that was out of, 15,000 memes I've probably seen in that time period. I remember that one because I was dying when I saw it with all the natural light all over the kitchen.
Yeah, it was a good one. I'd seen it a couple years ago and it popped up again, like right before I decided, to take that picture. I was like, let's do it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Now that house sold, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. It's both the one I took the picture in and the one that I got the listing from it.
Okay.
Yeah. So they both sold over asking price, and
Nice. Did you leave the beer?
I did. Actually, Tony, if you're watching this, I hope Dan enjoyed that. Their neighbor Dan Nelligan, he's a cool dude. I've known him and his family for a long time. So she left it on his porch for him.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, as far as your hobbies, do you still sail? I mean, that seems like something that would be hard to get out of your system once you do something like that.
I haven't been on a sailboat since I left the islands.
Really?
My buddy Tim Ostrander, he's a traveling man. He lived in Colorado and Michigan. Does the Straits race every year. And
Okay.
he's back in Michigan now. He's up north, but he's still sailing. So next time I see him, I'd love to go out with him as well.
Yeah.
There aren't a lot of sailboats around in this part of Michigan.
Right. Yeah, I noticed that. I always thought there'd be a lot of sailing, but then when I've been to a couple marinas and I realized that there's just not. I'd imagine it's one of those things where like, how do you get into it?
Yeah, well, you need bigger water, right? You got the little Hobie cats, the little tiny catamarans that have the sail on it that go around Kensington and Woodland Lake and stuff. But for a big sailboat with a mast, you got to have some bigger waters.
Yeah. And I'd imagine it's not a cheap hobby to just pick up.
No, that's boat stands for bust out another 1,000, right?
Yeah.
Double that for sailboats.
It's
It's super expensive. Yeah.
That's cool. What does something like that cost? Just off the top of your head, like you were saying, the 65 footers that they would bring out there in the winter.
Jeez. 1.5, 2 million probably.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, that's not a poor man's hobby.
No, definitely not. Yeah, I mean, you're spending a lot of that maintenance too.
Yeah.
It's actually down in St. Thomas. Every December, do you know who I'm drawing a blank on his name, CEO of Oracle Software. I can't think of his name.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so he would keep his yacht there called Rising Sun every December and January. It was 450 feet, had this big hydraulic door on the side, which had a catamaran that popped out, which they used to clean the outside of the boat.
Wow.
Had a beautiful Chris Craft up on deck, basketball court. He paid, like 15, 20 years ago, $399 million for it.
Wow.
And he would go to St. Croix to fill up, and it would cost him $500,000 to fill up.
In fuel.
Yep.
Whoa.
He burns 1,400 gallons per hour, I believe was the number.
That's insane.
Larry Ellison, that was his name.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. And like and even that's just tip of the iceberg. I mean, just to have a crew on that, to pay to store it, I can't even imagine. It's probably got a permanent slip, but I don't even know what a bill would be to transport something like that if you ever did.
Well, I mean, if you're spending that kind of money, it doesn't matter to you, I'm
Right.
sure. Yeah, but it had a full-time crew of 42.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it gives you something to shoot for.
It's going to be at least another year before I'm there. Yeah.
That's awesome. And what are your goals for like real estate itself for you? Do you use the kind of the knowledge you're gaining to as far as things that you want to kind of roadmap for yourself in the future? Like, do you want to get into investing and rental properties and things like that?
I do. Yeah, I want to build a portfolio of rental income or rentals for different streams of income, just to kind of have that passive income. I'd like to build out referral business. Just nobody likes prospecting for real estate. So
Right.
I mean, if you help enough people, you can build that referral business. It just comes in. That's kind of the goal for me.
Yeah. Do you use some sort of follow up? Do you make sure that you're constantly like in touch with past clients and things like that?
Oh yeah. So as a team, My Roots does an event every quarter, right? So we have a petting farm coming up here at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Kids love it. We did that last year. Winter we have Santa at Spicers. We got the train that goes out. Kids meet Santa.
Oh yeah.
We do our happy hour every summer. Last year we did a drive-in movie out at the old CompuWare Center, and that was a huge hit.
Yeah.
We do that to keep in touch and say, hey, clients, we're thinking of you. We still appreciate you working with us. And other than that, just reaching out every now and then, text message, Facebook message.
Right.
Things
Yeah.
like that.
That's awesome. I've seen you guys do quite a bit. That's what I was going to ask. You guys do quite a bit of like outreach and things like that. A lot of special events, which is cool. Just please contact Tribe when you need sponsorship for that type of stuff.
Absolutely.
We'd love to get involved in that.
Okay.
So now you're going to, obviously, you said you're looking to move yourself shortly. You want to buy your first house.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you looking to be? Same area? You want to stay close?
Same area. So I've been going back and forth between, like I talked to you before this started, either on a lake or on property. I'm leaning more towards property.
Yeah.
I love being on the water, but I like my space. I like my privacy. I like my toys.
Right.
So, anything's up in the air, right? And I may end up in, New York. I don't know. I mean, not really, but probably somewhere in Howell, Brighton area. on 2+ acres is
Yeah.
what I'm shooting for.
All right.
Yeah.
And you're born and raised here, right?
Yeah, I graduated from Howell High School in 2000. Yeah, I grew up right at the edge of Pinckney and Howell.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because I was going to ask, is there a KW in St. Thomas?
Not when I was there. There's one in Costa Rica. Maybe I'll go there, right? But no, there might be now. I don't know.
Yeah.
But as of then, no.
Okay. Yeah, I always wondered about that because I'm like, it seems like a lot of these places, it's a lot of Americans buying. I always thought that'd be such a cool job. I always watch like the House Hunters, and every once in a while they'd have one on like a Caribbean island, and it was always like an expat American working there as an agent. I'm thinking like, man, what a life that would be.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I would be a real estate agent on St. Thomas. I mean, most of them are just kind of, it's a lot of third world areas on St. Thomas, right?
Which I didn't realize until you said that. When you said the bad neighborhood, something I'm guessing. Well, maybe I'm just ignorant. I would never assume there was. I was thinking the whole thing was like this paradise.
I mean, it is in a sense, but I mean, it's just a lot of there's a lot of rundown houses and just kind of they just exist, right?
Right.
And they're just hurricane proof, but I mean, they're just kind of block houses that are kind of meh.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess everywhere's got to have some sort of supporting infrastructure, once you get into the innards of it and figure out who actually works here and changes the sheets and does the laundry and all that things.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you get outside the tourist areas, it's a different ballpark.
Yeah.
Different ball game.
Really cool. Do you plan on going back there at any point? Not to live, but just to visit?
Some friends I know from down there, they said they're all stateside now. They want to have a reunion in January. So we're trying to plan for that.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
What's the best time of year to be down there?
I would say probably Marchish, kind of like after hurricane season, where it's not too hot. Right now it's hurricane season down there, so probably late summer, early spring, maybe.
Yeah. Awesome. So you're happy with the transition, happy in real estate, happy in life.
Yeah.
So now, next 2 years, goal is just keep plugging, keep moving forward.
Keep plugging, keep building. Yeah. I mean, all go.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming in. I appreciate your time today. How would somebody get a hold of you if they wanted to contact you or interested in buying, selling, or if they just wanted to follow you on Facebook and check out your memes?
Yeah, so you can call me 810-844-3934 or Bill Tait, Tait at myrootsgroup.com, myrootsgroup.com, or my website, kwbill.com. And you can look me up on Facebook if you want to laugh. Bill Tait. You'll see a clean-cut picture of me in a suit.
It's worth a follow.
Right?
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a good time.
You got it.
All right.